All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Ken here again. We're on the No Money Real Estate Podcast. I'm super excited about this episode because I'm going to talk to Tony Marinov. Tony Marinov is a dear friend of mine. He is also our resident expert on wholesaling. And for those that don't know what that is, wholesaling is where you go out and you contact distressed homeowners that need to get rid of their properties and they're scared to sell them retail. You come in, you do a deal with them, you get the property, you sell it, and you make some money for flipping paper. And we're going to get into the details right after this. Hey, my name's Kenta, and I'm a real estate investor. I want to welcome you to the No Money Real Estate Podcast. On this show, I'm going to interview elite level real estate investors from all over North America. And I'm going to help you to see one thing that all successful real estate investors have in common. They built their portfolios without using a dime of their own money. I've got a portfolio of $300 million in real estate. That includes resorts, apartment buildings, commercial buildings, and I've built the entire portfolio without using a dime of my own money. Real estate is a business that anybody can get into, but the strategies that those tight real estate investors use to build massive portfolios have been kept secret for decades. Now, because of this show, I'm going to reveal them to you. So let's get started. All right, welcome back. First of all, let me introduce you to Tony Marinov from Brazil. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Ken, how you doing? Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
Bro, it doesn't look like you're in Brazil. It looks like you're in an apartment in Toronto. Like, what are you doing in Brazil?
Right. So I've gotten my online wholesaling business where we
Yep.
flip properties totally remotely online. So I'm able to travel the world, stay in, all these different countries while flipping properties back home in Canada and the USA.
So let me understand this. You run a real estate business in wholesaling in Canada, but you're never in Canada?
Exactly. It's all done online. And what we do is we find these off-market properties, these dilapidated properties directly from homeowners, and then we connect them to cash buyers. And because we're just being the connector in the middle, it can all be done 100% remotely.
First of all, explain this to somebody that's watching or listening to the podcast and has never heard of it before. What exactly is wholesale? Give me some detail on this.
Right now, all over Canada, there's people who need to sell their homes desperately, but they can't because of the poor condition of the properties. And so what we do is we use this strategy on Facebook, not the personal side of Facebook, but the business side of Facebook that's totally anonymous. And we get these people who want to sell their homes clicking on our marketing, and they're asking for offers on their property. So what we do is we screen out the ones that really make sense, that are deeply discounted, that make sense for flipping, for cottage rentals, for all kinds of different strategies in real estate that have a significant amount of lift in them. We get them under contract. And once they're under contract, we control that property. And once it's under our control, we connect it to your cash buyers, or cash buyers like yourself.
Somebody who wants to buy it.
Yeah, somebody who wants to buy it and renovate it.
Why wouldn't they just sell this with a real estate agent? What brings them to you versus like just hiring an agent to sell it?
So the majority of the sellers we see, they've lived in these houses for 20, 30 years, maybe 15 to 30 years. And after being there for such a long period of time, they've accumulated a lot of stuff. A lot of them are borderline, maybe hoarders. And with that comes, they don't want to put a for sale sign.
They don't want to spend $100,000 and fix the house up, or they can't afford to do that.
Yeah, they can't afford it. And they also don't want everybody to know about their situation. So for privacy reasons for them, and because we save them the renovations.
So you're actually running a Facebook ad. And in that Facebook ad, I heard you say anonymous. How do you make it anonymous? What do you mean by that?
We use what's called a business page on Facebook. So that it's totally independent from your personal profile.
I'm guessing it doesn't say Tony Marinov buys houses on this Facebook page.
Not at all. They never know that. No, absolutely not.
So what's the pitch? What are you saying on the Facebook page or in the ad that's getting these people's attention?
Right. So first thing is you want the ad to look like a picture of what their life might look like. So we'll have a picture of an ugly house on it, or a house that's in dilapidated condition. Yeah. So that the first thing they see is an image of what their house might look like. And then We offer them the opportunity to have a no obligation offer where we buy houses in as is condition and don't require them to fix or clean anything.
So if they see the ad and they're in that situation, they click on the ad and fill out a form or something, and then you contact them. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, that's my favorite part about this is that when they click on the ad and they fill out a form and they actually book an appointment. So when we get on the phone with them, they know that we're going to be phoning them and they're actually happy to be hearing from us, which is much different than cold calling.
Yeah, no, I've done this. Like, obviously, I've bought a couple properties from you that have been wholesale deals, so I understand it a little bit. But I'm trying to think of the right way to position this for somebody that's never heard of this before. So essentially, what you're doing is you're negotiating a deal to buy their house with an assignment clause in it. So you're going to say, and you plan this all out so that you have the time to resell it before it actually closes. You're going to say to them, "Hey, listen, I'm willing to give you 400 grand for this, but it's going to be a 6-month closing." And then in your purchase and sale agreement you sign with them, there's an assignment clause. What is an assignment clause, first of all?
Correct. So an assignment clause means that once that seller agrees to sell us the property and we both sign the contract and we are under contract, that means that I can now take that contract and sell the piece of paper, or I can assign it for a profit, which means that we don't have to close on the property, but the person in your case would be closing on it, the person we assign it to.
And the owner of the distressed house, do they know that your whole end game is to resell the paper and assign it? Like you're informing them of all this when they agree to do it?
Absolutely. We want to make sure they're fully on board and we're fully transparent about that stuff. And it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. So when we're speaking to people, we're positioning it that me and my buying partners are buying houses. And so legitimately, we are partnering with people like yourself.
Yeah,
to
without a
source.
doubt.
You wouldn't believe how happy these home sellers are. Like they're literally thanking us. I have so many screenshots of them saying like, thank you so much for helping me through this process. And that's how we make money, is by finding what their pain point is,
Yeah.
solving it, and helping them.
Okay, so there's a part of this that, like, if somebody has never done this before and they're interested in doing what you do, that they're going to get a little worried about the fact. Somebody would be worried about, like, how do you look at a property especially if you're in Brazil and you know that you can buy that property from them for 400 grand, but you know that when the renovations are done on this property, it's going to be worth 900 grand. Like, how do you figure that out in your head, or do you, or like how's that work?
Great question. So we have a process where we collect, it's kind of standardized. We collect information from the seller about the details of the property and the condition it's in. And then we get the home seller to send us pictures. And along with this standard information that we collect and the pictures, we're able to go out there and look at what's been selling in the area and find comparable sales data.
Yep.
And we come up that way with what it's worth now, the fair market value, and what it would be worth after renovations to
And
determine.
then you get and then you get this validated with an appraiser.
Absolutely. So we do a little bit of homework up front, and then once we're sure it's a good deal, when there's a lot of profit in it, then we bring it to the appraiser. And what the appraiser does is they don't even have to go to the property necessarily. They can do it all from their desk, and they stamp their approval, which means that somebody buying the property from us can take that to a bank and get financing with it. So it's all official.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's a piece of the puzzle we're not telling them here. So let's talk about this. I've bought 2 of these deals from you in the last year. And the reason I bought them from you is because when you presented it to me, you had everything organized onto a web page. You had pictures of what it looked like now, and you had 2 appraisals. You had an appraisal that said what it was worth today and an appraisal that said what it would be worth after the renovations. And you even listed out all the renovations that you were suggesting. So I looked at a property that I bought from you for $540,000, and you showed me that it was going to take about $200,000 to renovate it, but then you added an ARV appraisal. So an appraisal when it was finished that said it was going to be worth $900,000. So for me as a real estate investor, that's a no freaking brainer, because I get to look at it. I had my own appraiser, by the way, look at the appraisals, and he said, yeah, that works. That is absolutely correct. And so I buy it from you at a fraction of the price, and you're basically doing a lot of the math for me up front on what I would normally do flipping properties anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I love about wholesaling so much, is that we're helping solve a problem for people like you who are flipping properties, which is finding the deal, analyzing it, and vetting it to make sure that it's a good profitable deal before we bring it to you.
I think the coolest part about this is, and we didn't talk about this yet, but on your side, you don't even pay a deposit on these properties. You pay like $1,000 or something to do these deals. And then you're getting your money the day that I buy the property.
Absolutely. So this is done with little to no money down. I'll give you an example. I've done 3 of these deals in the last 30 days. 2 of them I put 0 deposit on, and 1 of them I put $1,000 deposit. And I'll give you another piece of information. I generally make about 10% of the value of the property. And
I was going to say, those 3 deals you did in the last 30 days, when they close, because I know you assigned them all, how much are you going to make?
10% of the value of the properties, and they're average around $500,000 properties. So do you want me to do the math? Or
so you're going to make about 150 grand?
6 figures, yeah.
In 1 month from 3 deals. How much time from beginning to end did it take you to arrange all 3 deals?
So I've got it to the point where I do about an hour a day of calling. So if you average it out over the month, it's about an hour a day. So maybe 30 hours. 30 hours in a month. And then once I really dial into a specific deal, I'll spend 3 or 4 more hours. So 30 hours plus 3 hours per deal.
So 4 hours a day for 30 days.
Correct.
So part-time, you make $100,000 a month.
30 hours per week. And then I did 3 deals, which I invested an extra 3 hours on. So that's like 39 hours in a month, part-time, and make 150 grand.
So you work 1 week a month and make 100 grand.
If that's I don't want to come off like it's that easy. It is.
No, we got to be careful too. I mean, right. There are regulators that watch everything that we say in this space, and we have to be really careful not to make this sound too easy. But you speak regularly at the real estate investor summits that we do, and we're doing a real estate investor summit in the near future that you're going to actually come and stand on stage for an hour and explain this to everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to be teaching it live in person there, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, no problem, bro. That sounds great. All right, last thing I want to talk to you about. You do teach this to people, and you have a community that you're growing. What do you call it? Your wholesaling community?
Yeah, our wholesaling community is called the 7-Figure Wholesalers Mastermind.
What I love about this, if I want to make sure I understand this correctly, is if somebody joins your 7-Figure Wholesalers Mastermind community, you actually have a marketing team that will run the ads for them and teach them how to do that one-on-one, so they can learn how to run the ads, they can learn how to talk about the deals, and you do a call with them every week where you can go over this stuff and help them make money.
Absolutely. Can I share what inspired me to start it?
Yeah, of course. That's what I was going to ask you next.
So when I got started, I joined a mastermind, and you had to come in and learn the marketing before you could get to the fun part, which is actually helping home sellers. Yeah. And I saw a lot of people getting stuck and never getting past the marketing part. So what we've done is we create a system where we set everything up. When people come in, they're literally in business within 48 hours with leads coming in, and then they can get to the fun part, which is speaking to sellers, making offers, and generally helping them sell their properties.
That's freaking crazy. I know you're willing to talk one-on-one with people. If somebody wanted to jump on a private Zoom call with you and ask you some questions about what we've learned today in this podcast, we've got a link that we just put in the show's notes. So if you're here right now and you're listening to us and you're thinking, man, I'd like to do that. Because here's the thing that I find really interesting about this, the way Tony set this up, is he's there and he's going to help you through the process. His marketing team is going to run the ads for you. There's a private Facebook group where you can ask questions, and they do a Zoom call every week, and it's freaking amazing. And it is a significant amount of money to join this. I think the entry fee to join this is $10,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it's around 10,000.
But you even have a partnership with a bank where somebody can borrow the money to do this.
Yeah.
And get into it, even if they don't have the money to get started. But once they're doing it, they don't need any money to actually wholesale real estate.
Yeah, I say this is the foundation that everybody getting started should build on, because whether you want to go into flipping or any of these other strategies, you got to have cash flow first. And this is a good way to start building cash flow that you can later put into other strategies in real estate. And it takes almost next to zero money to get started.
Hey, listen, if you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast and you're at a place in your life where you're looking for a change and you want to make more money in your life, if you don't click on that link below this video or this show, the link that's right there with the arrows pointing to it, and book a call to talk to Tony about getting into wholesaling, you might as well just crawl back under the rock. I mean, it's that simple. Tony, thanks for dropping with us today, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at the Real Estate Investor Summit.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. Look forward to it.
All right, friends, that's it. That's the No Money Real Estate Podcast for today. If you want to get into wholesaling, book a call with Tony, get into it, and we'll see you on the next show.